In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke.
We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff, no filters, just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
Well, hello, ADNC family. I hope all is well. Emma here, coming to you from Canada. It is Friday Eve, and we're just about getting to the weekend. So I hope everybody is having a good week so far and looking forward to a great weekend. So, family, today we're going to talk about anti-Black racism in the Ontario schools. We're going to talk about a brother who went on camera to talk about the fact that a school staffer kicked his 7-year-old autistic daughter in the stomach. You heard me? Kicked her in the stomach. And he is nonetheless very upset, and rightfully so. And I'll tell you what, I can actually relate to this on both levels because I myself have gone through that, being assaulted by a racist teacher when I was around the same age as his daughter. So this story really resonated with me big time. And then secondly, his nonverbal autistic daughter, I have an autistic nephew. So I can also relate to that and that fear of something like this happening, because we do know that anti-Black racism in the schools here is next level. So without further ado, I'm going to play the video of this brother. His name is Granville Mayers, talking about this experience, and it's just really heartbreaking. Just have a look.
Sorry guys, now that I'm calm. And so another fact, you're not going to be able to relate, but when you look like me, I can't get upset because then they're going to say I'm a threat. What parent wouldn't be mad if a teacher kicked their 7-year-old severely autistic daughter in the stomach? They didn't want to call the police, so I did. I'm going to find out this teacher's name. I don't care if it's a male or female, and I'm going to make sure everybody knows. My daughter can't talk. My daughter can't stand up for herself. So oh my God, there's no way I'm going to let this go. This is my worst nightmare. I think about stuff like this happening to her all the time, and it freaking happened. I'm not letting this go. I need the more people that know, the better, just for me. So this is why I'm taking it to the social media.
Yeah, like I said, daughter was kicked in the stomach by a staffer. And you know what? I totally agree with him when he says, as angry as he is, he had to really temper himself, because what's going to happen? The angry Black man is coming to school, the scary, angry Black man. And then what happens? The police show up. So a few things that he said here that resonate, also bother me, but it's an actual fact as it relates to us, which is, like I just said, the fact that he said he had to temper himself. He had to calm himself down, because if he came in hot and angry, right? We can definitely relate to that. The fact that they weren't willing to call the police after this staffer assaulted that little girl is problematic, because here's the hypocrisy of it all. They will call the police on a Black student in a second, and the police will come in hot, but they won't call the police when an adult assaults a 7-year-old nonverbal autistic child. So the principal calls him and he says that I'm calling the police, right? So I'm with him. We want to know the name of this teacher or whatever kind of staffer she is. We want names. We want to know what's happening. And just so that we have an idea of where they're at with it, I'm going to share what the school or what the news or whatever is saying about this situation right now. So let me just present this to you all so we can read it together, because here's where we're at with it. Milton School investigating assault allegation involving staff member and student. The name of the school is Viola Desmond Public School. Okay. And we'll get into Viola Desmond and what she means for Canada. A Milton Elementary School staff member is on home assignment pending an investigation into an alleged, it's not alleged, it happened, assault on a student this week. Viola Desmond Public School principal Chris Hannabury sent an email to parents yesterday, that was on April 23rd, notifying them that we are aware of the situation that has been circulating on social media involving an alleged, remove the word alleged because it's not alleged, incident between a staff member and a student. If it were alleged, that staff member wouldn't be on home assignment right now. All right. He continued yesterday, and an alleged of physical harm was brought forward against a staff member involving a student. The safety and well-being of our students is our highest priority. Blah, 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 blah. Always a statement. They always put out these statements, and that's that's what they're saying. Fine, whatever. We have flooded the schools. I've called the school. We want more information. We want more accountability, because under no circumstance should a child who is nonverbal, autistic, special needs be assaulted in that manner. Under no circumstance. Okay. So home assignment, we're sorry. We want more. So a lot of people are now, as a result of this video going viral, a lot of people are jumping on it. A lot of the Black community, shout out to Underground Nation Pod, shout out to Brandon Gonez Media, shout out to parents of Black children who are about this. This is what they do. They are advocates for our Black students in these schools. So I'm going to just read some of the statements that parents of Black children have provided in regards to this. The first statement here is that the principal of the school reported the incident directly to the father. You heard Granville say that. Another child witnessed what happened. So it was the other child that's responsible for coming forward as well. The principal also disclosed that there have been other instances of physical abuse against this 7-year-old involving after-school staff at the school. Did you hear that? So the principal is admitting that this has happened more than once. So this is problematic to me because, again, let us remember this child is nonverbal. So this has happened, and dad has no way of knowing about this, but for the fact that somebody witnessed it and came forward. This is a problem. So the parents of Black children go on to say that we are reporting the educator to the College of Early Childhood Educators. We will pursue the removal of their license. We are exploring every legal avenue. Thank God. Also, they are demanding a full independent investigation into all staff who have contact with vulnerable children at this school. There is a clear pattern of abuse at Viola Desmond School. There's a history here. All right. So the school statement is the Halton Director of Education contacted parents of Black children, and the school board states police and CAS are involved. The educator has been removed. They will support the family and meet all their needs. And we are saying this is not enough. Do you know why this is not enough? Here are the statistics. 57% of parents of Black children cases this year involve neurodivergent children. Our children with exceptionalities are being disproportionately harmed. This is systemic. This is a problem. And this is a problem that we need to make sure that we address. Okay? So these canned statements, and you're looking into it. Apparently, the police were also called. The police say it's too early to do anything. Excuse me, why is it never too early when Black children the police are called on Black children and y'all come in deep? Why is it not too early then? But when it comes to an adult assaulting a 7-year-old, it's too early to get involved? Really? Really? So shout out to parents of Black children demanding more. Absolutely. We want more. You know, this is really problematic to me for so many reasons. As I said in the beginning, I can relate to this because I'm going to share my story. When I was 6 years old, and I grew up in the racist province of Quebec. Yes, that's what I call it. And I had spilled my chocolate milk on the floor. And the teacher, who was just a really mean, wicked woman, and she was an anti-Black racist, and I was the only Black child in that class, she was so angry at me, and she gave me a piece of dry paper towel, pushed me onto the floor, so I was on my knees, and made me clean it up. And I was literally in tears, okay? So I'm trying to clean up this chocolate milk off the floor. And while I was circling the floor with the piece of paper towel, she punched me in my back and told me to stop squishing the chocolate around and referred to the chocolate milk as an N-word like me. And I was in tears. And when I went home and told my daddy, my Ghanaian daddy, let me just tell you, that was the last time anybody ever touched me or treated me badly in any way, shape, or form. That teacher was fired. And so that was taken care of and that was handled. Now, that's back in the 60s. Fast forward to today, and we're still going through this. But the saddest part of this whole thing is that child is nonverbal. So that suggests to me that you, whoever this heinous person is that did this, is fully taking advantage of the fact that this child is nonverbal. And this is extremely problematic, okay? Now let's talk about the name of the school. The name of the school is Viola Desmond Public School. And to my American brothers and sisters who don't know about Viola Desmond Public School or who Viola Desmond is, let me just play a short clip. I covered the story of Viola Desmond about 2 years ago, and I was talking about her, just giving a little bit of Black history about some of the people that pioneers here in Canada that a lot of people just don't know about, and their indelible contributions to shaping the way that things are today as it relates to Black people and civil rights and all of that good stuff. So I'm just going to play this and then we'll talk about it a little further, because I do think it's important to note that you're naming a school after somebody that was responsible for really being an advocate and fighting for Black rights, yet Black people are being treated this way in the schools. So let us just watch this. Back in history today, we're going to go way back to the 1800s and early 1900s, and we're going to talk about a pioneer who is often compared to Rosa Parks. She came before Rosa Parks, also rebelled against racism, and she also did a lot for our community. Her name is Viola Desmond, and she is a true pioneer. I'm going to play the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Viola Desmond was a Canadian-born entrepreneur and civil rights activist in the early 1900s. Having a white mother and a Black father, it was very hard for her to grow up in a segregated Nova Scotia. The racism and injustice Viola in the 1940s and many other Black Nova Scotians had been dealing with since their first migration in the 18th century was brutal. Throughout history, Black people in Nova Scotia were mainly slaves, poorly treated, often belittled, and told that they were the least superior race, which is truly appalling. Even after slavery became illegal, Nova Scotia remained a highly segregated province. During her life, Viola had to deal with the struggles of having a white parent and a black parent. Consequently, she found herself torn between two groups that were racially opposed with each other, and eventually chose to identify with her black community. She wanted justice for her people and wanted life to be easier for everyone. Now Viola, growing up in this black community of Halifax, noticed that there was a lack of beauty and hair products for women like her in her hometown. So, she set her eye on making that change. Viola wasn't allowed to go to her local beauty school in Halifax because she wasn't permitted entrance due to the color of her skin. Therefore, she got her beautician training in Atlantic City, Montreal, and New York. After her studies, she went back to her hometown and opened her own beauty salon, started a makeup line, and she founded the Desmond School of Beauty Culture to give women of color in her community an opportunity to get an education and start their own businesses. In 1948, one cold November night in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, Viola's car broke down and was told it was going to take a long time to repair, so she decided to go see a movie at the Roseland Theatre. She asked to purchase a ticket for the main floor area, but was given a balcony ticket, usually reserved for the non-white clients. When she arrived at the main floor to take her seat, the ticket taker refused to let her sit. Thinking this was a misunderstanding, Viola went back to the ticket seller and asked to get a main floor ticket, stating that she would pay the difference if needed. The women behind the counter said,
"I can't sell downstairs tickets to you people."
Realizing this was about the color of her skin, she walked back into the theater and took a seat on the main floor. Viola was then confronted by the manager, Henry McNeil, and was told he could refuse admissions to any objectionable person. She wasn't objected and was, in fact, sold a ticket, so she stayed seated. The police were called and Miss Desmond was forcefully escorted out of the theater, suffering an injury to her hip, and was held in jail for 12 hours. Soon, her story was brought to the attention of the public, and things started to change for Black people in Nova Scotia and throughout Canada. Viola Desmond was a pioneer for human rights, often compared to Rosa Parks, even if Viola came before Rosa. She is now honored for her actions of rebellion against racism by becoming the new face of Canada's $10 bill. She will be the first Black person and the first non-royal woman to appear on a regularly circulated banknote.
With this new $10 bill, Canadians will be reminded how Viola stood up for her rights. One woman's actions can really make a difference.
And there you have it. That's the story of Viola Desmond. And as I said, this school is named Viola Desmond Public School. Do you see the hypocrisy? And as you can see from the statistics from parents of Black children, this is a known situation that happens at this school against Black students. So therein lies the problem. Let me just talk to Brother Granville for a second. And let me just say to you, brother, I totally feel where you're coming from. In the beginning, I said that I can relate on both aspects. Number one, being assaulted by a school staffer. And number two, having a child, or in my case, having a nephew that's autistic. And he is like my child anyway, so I can say that. When we discovered that my nephew was autistic, he was around 2 years old. And I'll never forget the day I got that call from my sister telling me this, because I felt like there was literally, I got punched in the gut, because the first thing that came to my mind with doing what I do and knowing what I know about what goes on in these schools in Ontario with Black students, I was terrified. Because I knew at some point he would have to go to school, right? He was only 2, as I said, but I knew he would have to go to school. He'd have to be going to a school, even if he was put in a special needs class. And he's also nonverbal. I mean, he can say a few things here and there, but to be able to have a conversation and say, how was your day at school? And what did you learn? And what did you do? Did anybody hurt you? Like, no, right? So it's the same kind of thing. So I was terrified. But I made a point of learning everything I needed to learn about autistic children and what have you. And for the most part, things have been okay for him, at least that we know of. And then I'll also add, he's not a small boy. He's like 6'2", over 200 pounds. So, if you want to step to him, you got to be ready, because he is, even though he's nonverbal, he's very, very strong. So, there's that. But nevertheless, I can totally relate. I see that fear. And as Granville said, his biggest fear came to light, and his baby girl was assaulted. And from what I understand, she's complaining about, an upset stomach and all of these other things. So, you know what? I'm going to talk to our Black community now. We need to make sure that we continue to lean on this school and demand accountability, like parents of Black children are doing. We're demanding an independent investigation. We are demanding that staffer be removed completely. We are demanding that there is charges brought against that staffer, assault charges. We want everything. And also the school for trying to cover it up, for not wanting to call the police. Instead, you call the parent. And what exactly were you trying to do there? You wanted this Black man to come in hot so that you can have something against him, to be like, oh, we're so afraid. Here comes this Black man. And the next thing you know, the Black man is being taken away in cuffs, and you take all of the heat off of yourself as the school. And then knowing that there's a history of this, we've got a problem. And so Black people in Canada, Black organizations in Canada, it's time for us to all use our platforms and step up and make sure that we flood that school until we get real accountability for what you did to that child. And when I say you, I mean the school, because you hired that person. There's been a history of this going on. It came from the principal. So why, if there's a history of this going on, are we only now knowing about this now? Are we only knowing about this situation now? Are we only knowing that she's been removed now? That's a problem. So, Black people, shout out again to parents of Black shout out again to parents of Black children. Shout out again to Underground Pod. Shout out again to Brandon Gomez. Here we are, African Diaspora News Channel. And brother, we are not going to stop. I know I'm not taking my foot off the pedal. This is extremely triggering for me. Extremely triggering to know that this is something that I went through at the age of 6 in the 60s. And then to see that this is going on still now. No. We're not letting this go. We are not letting it go. God knows. So, brother, I'm with you, brother. We're going to make sure that we do all that we can to ensure that this school is held accountable. And finally, I will just say this. This, again, is just another example of why we need our own major institutions where we have the school run by Black people, Black students, Black faculty, Black staff, everything Black, okay? And then on top of that, if we can't do that, we're at least homeschooling or something. Our kids are not safe in these schools. They're not. But in the meantime, we sure will make sure every single school board is held accountable for anything they do to these Black students. And to all Black students in these schools out here in Ontario and across Canada, please speak up. I know you're probably afraid to say something. I know you're probably afraid of the repercussions or what may happen. I happen to know for a fact that some of you are afraid. But what I will say is, please speak up, because there's no reason why you should be suffering in these school bodies. None whatsoever. And you just know that you are covered. You are loved and appreciated. We are all here to help all of these organizations, all of us using our platforms, news outlets like ADNC and others. We are here. We are not going to let it go. We're going to make sure that you're safe in these schools. We absolutely are. So family, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know what you think about all of this. Drop your comments in the chat. Support Granville, support parents of Black children. You can find them on Instagram. Support all of us that are out here doing this, because we're not going to let this slide. We're not. Enough is enough. And I always say this, we as Black people are all we got. So we got to make sure that we step up for each other, unify, and use the power that we have to lean in on these schools and any other institution riddled and peppered and baked with systemic anti-Black racism. Enough is enough. Thank you so much, family, for listening to me. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm just going to close off by putting another statement from Granville Mayers talking about how he felt and what he wants and what he expects. And we'll close off, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Nightmare, especially knowing your child is nonverbal. She might think it's a game. She doesn't understand like what being kicked by an adult would even mean. They can't speak. They can't say how they feel. It's just like, where's the trust? In my opinion, it wasn't being handled the way that I think it should be as a special needs dad. How am I gonna have a clear mind knowing who's with my daughter? What are their credentials? Has this happened before? I feel justice is having cameras in these sensory rooms and anywhere where there's nonverbal children who can't speak for themselves. I'm also seeking justice for my daughter, but all the other children. Numerous parents have sent me messages saying this has happened to their children.
And there you have it. Numerous parents reached out to him and said, this has happened to my children. So I will say to all of those numerous parents, please speak up as well. We all have to band together and make sure these schools are held accountable. And I totally relate to him when he's saying that there should be cameras in these schools. There absolutely should be cameras, especially in places where you've got nonverbal children, so that we can keep our good eye on these staffers. So absolutely we need that. And who wants to have this fear and live with this fear that your child is going to go to school and you'll get that dreaded phone call? And we know this dreaded phone call has happened one too many times. His biggest fear came to light. And, we just can't let it go. We can't. So we're not going to Granville. We're with you. Just know we are with you. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate you much. Before I love you and leave you, just let me remind you to please, if you haven't already, grab your tickets for the ADNC Narrative Power Summit that's going to be taking place this summer in Toronto. We'll all be there. Come meet us all. Come meet the team. Philip Scott, Demetra Kay, Wangel Zalalam, myself, Rosemary Havasum. Just come hang out with us. The link to buy tickets is in the description field. We expect to see you there. Thank you so much. I shall see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Take care.
Black excellence, too magnificent, This is excellent, this is excellent, this is excellent, this is excellent. Black is luxury, black history, black legacy, black dynasty, X vision like Malcolm, diaspora, you're welcome. No Wakanda or Zamunda, we from Africa. We the future, we the past, we the now. The world trying to copy but don't know how.